Today I am making gluten-free, dairy-free apple pie. Yes, it tastes just like grandma's. Absolutely delicious. My normal family didn't even know it was gluten-free, dairy-free. So let's get started. Please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when we put up new videos. I'm the author of the Gluten-Free, Dairy-Free Dining on a Dime cookbook. I know it's a mouthful, but let me tell you, it is a great cookbook with over 380 pages of gluten-free, dairy-free recipes that I have tested every single one. Many of them, I went through a lot of recipes to find the perfect one. All right, to make gluten-free, dairy-free pie crust, it is super easy. Now, my two favorite ready-made gluten-free flours is the King Arthur and the Great Value All-Purpose. This Walmart, this is not a sponsored post. This is the cheapest already made gluten-free flour that I have ever found. As a matter of fact, it is as cheap as buying the separate flours and making it yourself. So I just buy this and use this. I happen to have this one because I was recipe testing for the gluten-free, dairy-free book, so I'm going to use this one, but this is the one, the all-purpose, that I always use, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to take your flour. Now, first of all, when you measure gluten-free flour, do not go in and scoop it like this. What you want to do is take a spoon and spoon it in so that it doesn't get packed too tightly. Then what I do is I just scrape off the top like so and put it in there, okay? That way it doesn't become heavy. Next, if your flour does not have xanthan gum, add the xanthan gum. That just helps your gluten-free pastries become lighter. Next, you're going to add your salt and your sugar. Then you're going to stir your sugar, salt, and flour all around, just like so. This recipe is in the description below. Then you're going to add your shortening. Now, to measure shortening, here's an easy way to measure shortening. I have my I have my water at 1.5 cups. Remember, oil and water don't mix. So I have 1.5 cups of water, and I'm going to put my shortening in until my water comes up to 2 cups. So that's my 1/2 cup of shortening right there. Then you're going to add your shortening. Now, I prefer butter flavored shortening, but if I don't have buttered flavor shortening, because sometimes it's hard to find in the grocery store, I just have, oops, I got shortening on my finger. I just use butter flavor, and that way I get the flavor, okay? Then what I do is I just take my hands and I just make little pea size, just mix the shortening in until your flour is like little pea sized. Let me show you. Okay, so see how they're mostly crumbly. Some are up to pea size, some are maybe slightly bigger, but you see how crumbly that is, okay? Then you're going to add your egg and your cold water. This is just my shortening water. And you're going to add your vinegar, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to stir it around. Now, I start with just a little bit of water first, okay, just to kind of get everything to come together. Then I add the rest of my water, okay. Stir it all around. And I just ruined the recipe. Okay. All right, now, I just messed up. Don't pour the whole 2/3 cup of water in. You're only supposed to do about 3 tablespoons to start with, and I messed up. But here's the thing, I'm going to show you how to fix it. Just add a little bit more flour, and it's no big deal, okay? So then we're just going to take and lightly mix this in. So just show you how to fix your mess up. Don't get all the flour in yet. Just lightly add it around the edges as it keeps going. That was my fault. I knew better. I'm going to add just a little bit more. Now, you want this to be the consistency of Play-Doh, okay? So it's slightly on the dry side, but still fairly moist. And I know that sounds contradictory, but can you see how that kind of looks like Play-Doh right there? You see that? Okay, so that's what you're going for. Now, you're going to divide it in half and wash your hands. Now, it's easier to manipulate when your hands are clean. Now, what I do, you can just roll this out on the counter if you want, and that's perfectly fine. But I find it easier if I take some parchment paper or wax paper. This is freezer paper just because that's what I had on hand. And liberally sprinkle your dough paper with gluten-free flour. And then you're going to start by kind of pressing it out with your hands, okay? And then when it gets too big, then you're going to form the shape, and then we're going to roll that out, okay? Here we go. Now, it's hard to see on the camera, but right here, so I'm going to take my pie plate and measure, and I want it about 2 inches bigger, okay? So I'm just going to keep going. Okay, now let's see. Oops, oh dear. Oh no, I totally screwed this up. I totally screwed this up. I forgot to flour the top side. Okay. So, if you totally forget to flour the top side, don't freak out. Okay? This dough is actually very forgiving. Okay? So what I'm going to do, because I forgot to flour the top side. All right, now I'm going to add my flour here. Now, I know you professional pie makers. I am not a professional pie maker. But just go in and fill in your holes, okay? Now, this side here, I'm going to roll this just a little bit more that way. Okay, there we go. Now, you're going to take your pie, and I dust off, and then what we're going to do is we're going to lay this in the pie pan and just gently peel it off. Now, if it sticks, don't freak out. Okay, there we go. Now, that didn't work. You know, there's days, and today's one of those days. Okay. So we are going to, oh my goodness, some days you just gotta laugh. Okay, we are going to gently fill in the pie. And I am just going to keep going because if this was real life, that is what you would have to do. So here we go. Now, what happened was I let my pie dough get just a tad too moist. And that's why it totally flopped. But you know what? I'm kind of glad it happened because this will show you how to make it. If you're using this for apple pie or pumpkin pie or pecan pie, then I would bake this just 5 minutes. If you're using it for cream pies, like a chocolate cream pie or coconut cream pie, then bake it for 12 to 15 minutes, okay? All right, there we go. See, we got it all saved. There we go. It's gonna taste delicious. All right, so now we're gonna put it in the oven. Here's the trick for good tasting apple pie. And I know there are gonna be people on here who are like, oh, how can you say that? That's just awful. Never, ever, ever use Granny Smith apples. Or if you use them, just use one in there if you want. But I never, ever, ever use Granny Smith apples. Oh, hello. I only use Gala or my new apple that I just found, which is called Envy, okay? Now, do you like apple pie? What I do is I put the bag for the apple pie, for the apples, underneath my peeler, and then it catches the peels, and I just gather it up and either compost it or throw it in the trash just with one easy little gathering of the peels. Then what you do is you just take your nice little wrap here and you just throw it away and you're good, okay? So now you're gonna take your apples, okay? You're gonna add your white sugar, you're gonna add your brown sugar, you're gonna add your nutmeg and your cinnamon, okay? And let's see, your salt. Do not forget the salt. All right, and then you're gonna mix all of that together. And you're gonna, oops, no, I didn't get it, there it is. I had two in there. Then you're going to microwave this for just about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Now you don't want to cook it so that your apples are completely cooked. You just kind of want to start the cooking process. Now, my grandma used to use Musselman's, whatever it was called, apple pie slices in the can. Not the pie filling, but the pie slices in the can is what my grandma would use. But you can't find that hardly anymore. And so I just make my own pie filling. And we have, in Dining on a Dime, we have a pie filling that you can freeze ahead of time. So like if you have an apple harvest, you can make a whole bunch of pie filling and freeze it in baggies and stack it in your freezer, okay? All right, next you're gonna add either cornstarch or flour. I just happen to have the cornstarch here, so I'm gonna do that. If you're a tapioca person, you go right ahead and add the tapioca. It doesn't matter. Now, all this does is thicken the juices so that it's not so runny, and it thickens the juices. Now, for my after pie, I forgot to add the cornstarch. And yeah, it was juicy, but it didn't hurt anything at all, okay? All right, so now we've got the pie in here. You kind of want to make the center just a bit higher because the apples will come and smush down, and I just always make the center a bit higher. All right, so then I just don't have enough room in this kitchen, sorry guys. Then you're gonna take your top pie crust and roll it out. Now, you can do this a couple of ways. As you guys know, I don't do fancy cooking. I do easy and tasty cooking. Quick and easy. Now, yeah, see, really I should have chilled this. This is really soft now because we're under the lights and it's super warm in here. So, really I should have chilled this, but that's okay. I feel like I'm gonna choke. All right. Yeah, this is super soft. Now, I usually make a rustic pie and I'll just put it on top, but route, okay? All right, I think this is big enough. And I am pretty sure it's going to be stuck because it is so warm. This is just like super, super soft. Okay. All right, scoot that over. And I'm gonna bring my pie back. And what I do is I just go for the rustic look, okay? Because, yes, it's just way, way too soft. Holy cow, I don't know that I've ever had it this soft. It is like 80 degrees in here. I don't know what happened to Colorado. Don't tell me it's global warming, because that's a sham. But it is been super, super nice in the high 70s here in Colorado, mid to high 70s. And
we're getting snow on.
But I know it's not global warming because we had snow on September 8th. So if that was the case. All right, now, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get everything off the edges, just like so. You can just decorate it however you want. Now, let me just try it this way. There we go, there we go. Like I said, I don't waste time decorating. I don't waste time doing lattice stuff, but I will kind of just do up the edges just a bit here. And just like so. All right. Now, you want, oh, I forgot the butter again.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, well, here we go. We're just gonna adapt and overcome. I never remember to put the butter in. So, since we did that, I'm just gonna go in and
smells awesome.
Put a blop in there, and then put a blop in there.
Out of Goshen is on.
Hello, Out of Goshen. I was just watching your videos before the show.
They're loving the apple pie.
There you go. Just come back in. Now, I did our gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook is now available for pre-ordering for the print edition. We have that coming December 15th. So if you would like to order it, it is available now, and Mike is going to put a link. I have already sold.
Oh, for the gluten-free, sorry,
I have already sold several. I was shocked. I sold a lot. I didn't see the exact count, but when I went and saw the dollar amount, I was like, holy cow, everybody wants gluten-free. Okay, now it's even more rustic, and that's totally fine. But now, if you remember to put your butter in, you can put your initial on there. I'm just going to leave it rustic so there's a whole bunch of little steam holes. And then I am going to sprinkle my sugar on top, and I'm going to put this in the oven for 450 degrees for 15 minutes, and then I am going to turn it down to 350 for 35 to 40 minutes, okay? I forgot, always put it on a cookie sheet with a lip so that you don't have burning pie juice if you happen to have it boil over, which is always a problem, okay? Now, here is the final look of the pie.
Yum.
That is the final pie. Dave, can you hand me a plate and we'll get Dad a piece
It's probably
to try?
one of Mike's top 5 recipes in all of our books.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I love it.
Now,
I love it.
This is the gluten-free, dairy-free version. So I'll have Mike give it a taste, and he's not going to tell you it tastes good if it doesn't. Okay, well maybe he would, but I don't know. He likes my apple pie, so I'm thinking it's pretty good. All right, so here we go. Got...
Oh.
Oops, I didn't cut the crust very good. Okay. That's what the gluten-free, dairy-free apple pie looks like. This is what the regular one looks like. Okay.
Sorry. Just
there you go.
Chit-chatting with everyone. Yum. Whoops. I need something to cut it with.
Oh, I should have got you a fork.
Mmm.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Oh, yum.
You want to see or you want to taste it?
I have to say, it is so nice to be able to eat things like pie again, because I've been gluten-free for, over 10 years now. And I have to say, it is really nice to be able to eat regular, so to speak, foods again. I put the leftover pie crust and the extra apples, and I just made like a little tart type thing. So we're going to eat this now. Yummy, yummy. Livingonadime.com. You can get our gluten-free, dairy-free cookbook right now. This is so delicious. Oh man, it is so nice to be able to eat pie again. Yum.